guys, how's it going? I am back to do these semi-daily vlogs about my progress on Midas mode. I know what you're thinking. Am I in a domestic abuse relationship? What's up with my eye? How'd I get this shiner here? Well, it's a sad story. Mr. Rue, this little son of a bitch, and I were playing on the bed, and I took his toy, and he headbutted me, and he gave me a black eye. So yeah, I do look like garbage, but I assure you, I'm alive, I'm okay. No one is beating me. I'm fine. Just this little piece of shit. Anyway, yeah, last Midas mode blog, I told you guys I would make another one as soon as I knew that this thing was actually going to happen and my horrible sponsorship woes. Well, good news. We got some sponsors. It's going to happen. This thing is actually going down. So, yeah, I'm not done. It's not where I want it to be all the way, but we have enough funding to make sure that no matter what, the event is going to happen. Might be a piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. It will be great. But it is going to happen. I probably need about one more sponsor for it to be the tournament that I've always wanted it to be. Maybe two or something, you know, to pick up that extra slack. But it's there. So, as we finish up sponsorship and as we put the finishing touches on that long and painful chapter. Oh, coffee's so good. We are able to talk about the fun stuff. The stuff that I actually am excited for. Almost. New stuff coming up. Now that the tournament finally has enough cash and money with sponsorships. Oh, crap! Pardon me. Pardon me. Anyway, now that the tournament is finally have enough money for the teams, I can start thinking about other stuff. Of course, that was the big deal with the sponsorship. A lot of the teams were generous enough to say, hey, we're going to sign on and lock ourselves into this tournament to help you with sales and sponsorship. Because having those big teams would, of course, get you more money. So that has been my goal, never ending, never resting, every single day. Wake up at 9, go to sleep at 11, and just constantly emailing people trying to find some kind of source of sponsorship. Yeah, that's been 100% the goal, because in Dota, you gotta give these teams a lot of money. You gotta do, even for a small event, and the more that I could raise for them, the better I would feel about myself, and feel like I have made good on that promise that I made to try to get them as much money as possible. So, yeah, we're at the point where, okay, we have enough prize pool where we need probably one more or two more sponsors, but it's there. Now for the other shit. Alright, so this is my first time doing a tournament, and I have not ever thought about anything else. I haven't thought about this until this point. Yeah, I've raised money for the teams, but now I gotta think about everything else and what I need to do. And the number one on that is talent. Now, this is a very strange position to be in from me, because all I've ever been is talent. I've only seen this from the other side of what that's like, to get invited to events and to work them and the talent side. And being a guy who is making a tournament is so much more makes sense about talent. For one, let's talk about talent inviting into tournaments. Typically in the Dota 2 scene, I'll get invited to a tournament about 2 weeks before it happens. Now, I know that to you, that seems ridiculous, right? 2 weeks before it happens? Sometimes for an event that could last 2 weeks? That's crazy. Yeah, it is kind of crazy, and I've always wondered why that is. Now that I've made my own tournament, I know exactly why that is. Because who the fuck cares about talent? Are you kidding me? That's the last thing I've ever thought of. Who's going to work the event? Screw that. Do we have enough to make the event? Do we have enough for the teams to not just drop because the prize pool is so small? Who cares who's there? That's the last thing I care about. And that is so weird. Because as a talent, you would think that that's how they do it. They're like, oh, yes, I want to have this person on the talent list for sure. I couldn't care less who's on the goddamn talent list. I just got this thing to work. And it's in less than a month. I just made sure that this thing was actually going to happen. I don't give a shit who's there. So, yeah, the time has come to actually think about who's going to work the tournament. And it's just challenging. There's a lot to think about. Well, for one, you got to decide that talent stuff quick. Prices for playing tickets only go up the sooner you are to the date for hiring talent. So, if you get talent and you fly them out a week before, the price is like 4 times than if you get them a month before. So, basically, I need to decide who's going to be working this event as talent right now and get those plane tickets out, which is bananas. I mean, I don't even know a lot of things. Like, what are they actually going to do? Who is going to be working at what positions are they going to be in? And it's super strange to think about as somebody who comes from the talent sphere, being in that position, trying to find out, trying to think about who would be optimal in what place and what they would be doing. One other thing, I've never understood it as a Dota 2 talent, but now I can understand completely, are rates, okay? Being in this field is pretty interesting. When you get offered an event, typically they're like, all right, here's the event, here's the time, here's the rate, take it or leave it. A lot of people think negotiation is a big thing for an entertaining sphere, you go in and be like, you may start with that, but I believe it should be increased, I'll do it for an extra, etc., etc. Not so much in esports. Sometimes it could go either way, depending on how desperate the organizer is. Sometimes you can negotiate something higher, but typically it's just, okay, well, that's what we have. Take it or leave it. It's very binary. It's like, yeah, that's not enough for me. Okay, see you next event. And I never understood that. I mean, come on. You're a big company. You've got some hidden secret funds, right? No, talent's the last fucking thing I care about. The last thing I've thought about. All of my energy has been getting in enough money to make the teams happy and get them a big enough prize pool. I don't get... What? That's all I have left. I have not even allocated the funds that I need to think about to pay talent. So eventually when I do that, which is, going to be probably right after this video is done, there's no magic money hiding out somewhere where maybe I could take it from here and give it to you. No, this is barely what I have for all of my talent, and I need to try to find a way to squeeze that out. So makes a lot more sense in that thought process from what I've always known as being somebody who's trying to get hired for events. You take money from more for you, that means someone else is going to have less. I mean, that's just it. They're not going to take it out of the team's prize pool. They can't afford to. I mean, because that doesn't make any sense. Every single penny that you spend on a tournament takes away from a prize pool, and in Dota, the prize pools have to be big. If they're not big, it's just goofy. That's how people equate quality. Unfortunately, look at the new major system. You make $1 million, you're a major. It doesn't matter what your quality is, money talks. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff coming from an organizer standpoint. That is why the system is why it is. Why do you get invited 2 weeks before a tournament? And why do you get one offer that's non-negotiable and either take it or leave it? Because you're the last thought of this entire thing. The teams are what matters. The game is what matters. You're just a piece of garbage. Yeah, you're what I thought of right before the event goes on a month before, because that's my only opportunity to think about it. I can't build the tournament around the talent. What are you, crazy? Who cares? Who's going to watch a tournament with great talent and no other things? Nobody. So yeah, super eye-opening stuff as a tournament organizer, what it's like to consider talent and where that comes into. I mean, of course, this is my first tournament. I'm doing it all by myself with the help of my Moonduck homies. Yeah, of course it's going to be different for me because it's small scale. I'm sure that the larger companies and all that, they can sometimes be like, we really want this guy. We'll build the tournament around this guy. They'll plan. Of course they're going to be more organized. But it does make sense for the first time in my career thinking about kind of the insane constraints that these orgs are under and how talent can mean just so little to anything. But there is the other side of the coin. You got to have good talent. You don't have good talent, then you don't have anything. You could have the best teams in the world, and if your casters aren't casting them well, if your obs suck, if the in-panel stuff is bad, then it's a garbage event. Might as well just watch it on Dota TV, which a lot of people do, because they don't like the talent. They don't like what is set up. So, yeah, it's a double-sided coin, but it's certainly a coin, a problem that needs to be fixed a lot faster than anything else. I've had teams signed up for the tournament for months. I've had the hunt for sponsorship for months. I don't even remember the last time I had a real stream before, because I, every single day, am trying to get sponsors. But, yeah, talent. You gotta, it's crazy. It's great. I don't got time to think about that. Are you kidding me? So, today's the day to think about that. That is my mission for today on my daily Midas blog. Who do I get to work at this event? And how do I figure that out? So, luckily for me, I got a lot of good things going in my way. Number one, the Perfect World Minor is already happening. And a lot of the good Dota 2 talent is already out there doing that. Bravo. No one gonna watch it, those suckers. Just kidding. It's in a completely different time zone, so don't worry, Perfect World. We're not competing at all. All of the viewers watching my tournament are going to be asleep for yours, vice versa. So no worries there. But the Tier 1 talent will be at the Perfect World Minor most likely. So that takes a lot of the stress off. Community can't be like, why didn't you get this guy? Because he's working, bitch! That's why I couldn't get him. Not that I would have been able to afford him anyway, but don't tell people that. Now you know. Anyway, so that takes stress off. Also, being part of Moonduck Studios also takes stress off. Got the boys there that are willing to work and can do stuff for me there. So, that is good. Then you have to think about, how much am I going to pay these people? How am I going to fly these people out? Flights, people. Bringing somebody from Europe is like nearly the cost to pay them for the event or something. It's ridiculous. It's fucking bonkers. And then you have to think about lodging. I gotta put these assholes up in hotels. I gotta fly them over. I gotta actually pay them for their work. Jesus, it's a nightmare. Good Lord. So suffice it to say, that's all. Budget concerns are etc., you know, normal crap that I've never thought of before. But more importantly, the fun thing and the challenging thing is thinking about talent working together. Who's going to be a good pair? Who is going to do the best for the tournament? And what is that going to look like? Who are going to be the main casters? Who are going to be the main panelists? Who works well together? Now I understand why at so many tournaments it's just like it's just a crapshoot. You know, it's just boop, it's just people are there, because who has time to think about that? You got to get the talent that you can afford. You got to get the talent that you think will be around the same kind of vibe that you're giving off. And then you get them there, and then you just have them figure it out. Because you can't plan your event around talent. I mean, that's just not how it works. You have to plan your event around making it succeed, making it happen. Then you get whatever talent you can, and then just see how you can use them best. Sorry, I fixed my camera there. Sorry to move your eyes there, folks. But, yeah. So a lot of questions need to be solved today. And they need to be solved as soon as possible, because we got to get those plane tickets. We got to fly bitches out. So who is going to be best at the event? Who is going to work well? Luckily, we do have the pool for Moonduck, but I still got to pay him. So, you know, one decision I have made is I'm not going to pay myself. Now, I know that sounds dumb. I'm putting on the tournament and all that stuff, but that's another dude I can hire. That's great. And as far as I go, on this one, when we're talking about talent, I think I want to take more of a producer type of role. I want to make the product rather than be the product. So I have no idea if I'm even going to be on the panel or do anything. I would rather be in the back being like, yes, this is the vision that I want. I want to be a project manager in the back, a producer, and be like, yeah, that's the angle that I want. That's how I want that content to go. Talking to people in their in-ear, being like, guys, let's move it on. Guys, let's do this. Guys, let's talk about that. Here comes this and this. So, yeah, definitely, of course, because I've already done the talent scene. I've already been in front of the camera. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 years. And the big reason why I'm doing this project is so I can challenge myself and learn different things and learn how to do that. So as far as I go in the talent sphere, I think I'm just going to be as minimal in front of the camera as possible, and just working on it from a production standpoint. Of course, that could change, depending on who I hire, depending on if we don't have enough people. But we'll see. Anyway, yeah, so that's me. And I'm not going to pay myself because I can literally pay for someone else to be there, especially if I'm not going to fucking be in front of the camera anyway. So I have to think about, okay, who am I going to get for this thing? It's so expensive. It's expenses you don't expect. Because all I focused on is getting enough money for the prize pool. So, yeah. Hotels, flights, type of talent, quality. These are all things that need to be thought of. Yeah. It ain't easy. Not to mention the awkwardness of being somebody that works in the scene as talent and then have to decide who I want to work the event with talent. Thank God Perfect World Minor is happening. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a balance to try to sell people on working the event. Then have free time. Now there's a few strats. There's a few creative ways that you could get around this. For one, you could have off-site people. That's definitely one way that you can get away with it. You cut out the majority of your fees, which are going to be travel, which are going to be hotels, which are going to be food. Food? Fuck, I haven't even thought about food yet. Oh my God, I gotta feed these assholes. I didn't even think about that shit. I gotta fucking feed them. I got money to feed these pieces of shit. Food, travel, lodging, rate. It's all gotta come from somewhere. You can solve all those problems by not having them actually come. Welcome to video games. You can have your casters cast off-site and just poke in through. That is definitely one option to save a buttload of money. Those people, all you have to do is pay them their rate, and then you don't have to worry about any of those other things. They could buy their own sandwiches. So, yeah, that's one option. However, every cost-cutting measure that you do, especially with talent, cuts away from your total production. It's so much better to have your casters in studio. You get to banter with the panel. You can switch them out. The tournament has a completely different feel. It feels more fun. It feels more genuine than having remote casters. I mean, it's a thing. I mean, remote panels are the same way. If panels are off-site, they can be fantastic, but you lose a little bit of that feel unless they're very talented and they're able to replicate that feel of being at the event without actually being at the event. So, definitely have to have an on-site panel. I think that's, well, what am I talking about? You have to have people all in the same room on the panel. That's just ridiculous to have like freaking webcams on the panel. There's no synergy there unless they know each other already, like, you know, when we do What the Duck. But no, the audience is not going to sit and let you do a off-site panel. So, gotta fly in at least panelists. Casters and analysts and other. I'll see what the budget permits. What the budget permits. These are things that I've never thought of as talent. It really is fascinating, and it explains so much. But anyway, so yeah, that's one way that you can cut costs. You can cut costs by specifically having some people come in for certain times. Maybe I hire a really great casting duo just for the end and for the finals. Maybe I don't know. But it's a delicate balance, and it's one that, you know, if I was a millionaire, it wouldn't be a big deal. If I had, all that funding. But you got to work with what you got. So, yeah, that are the real world concerns. The awkward concerns are got to hire people within the scene that I work with and that I know. I don't think anyone's going to be, like, pissed off that they didn't get to go to Midas mode because of et cetera, because, you know, it's fucking limitations. Nobody's going to be like, you piece of shit, I wasn't invited to Midas mode. But, God, it's hard. It's hard. Let's talk about feel. Let's talk about theme. That's another thing that you have to think of, too. Some tournaments will hire certain people because they give off a certain thematic feeling to the tournament. Let's look at Red Eye, for example. You hire Red Eye when you want things to look goddamn good. You want it to look professional. You want it to be a little bit of sprinkling some fun, but a lot of suit and tie and everybody. This is a big top-tier event. Look at me, fancy things. You hire Grant when you want it to be loose and goofy and fun, and anything could happen, but it's going to still be popular with the audience. It's going to be entertaining and engaging. Thematically, it's important to think about what you want to do, and all talent have that thematic thing. Even if you're the greatest caster in the world, you still have a theme. You still have a certain aura that you give off. So that's another thing too. And then sometimes you're not going to be able to afford the perfect person, and that is annoying as hell. What if I want the greatest, etc. in this place? Limited budget, and they're only the greatest because they got that way because they're high tier quality, and they're going to want a decent chunk of change for being associated with your shit. So, difficult. Where does that leave me with this event? Well, this definitely needs more motivation to find more sponsors. But I don't know. Mostly it just kind of feels like one advantage I have is that I really intimately know all the talent in Dota. I know what they're about. I know their work ethic. I know what they want to do and how they're going to approach this stuff and who's going to have fun. That's the number one thing. You want to hire people that want to be there, people that you think this is something that interests them and they want to do it. So, yeah, that is one advantage that I have. But it's time to make that decision like today. I gotta get those plane tickets out ASAP. So, yeah, that is something to think about. But anyway, do I have any of these answers for you? No, I'm literally just thinking out loud. That's the entire point of this blog, letting you guys know what I'm working on with Midas Mode every single day. So, yeah, that would be today's challenge. Think about talent. Think about the themes of the tournament. What is the thing that we want to present? What kind of quality of people are we going to get? Are we going to be able to afford those people? Who can I convince to sleep on the ground and only eat Pringles? I don't know. But these are things that I have to consider. So, luckily, I do have a lot of benefits with being in the studio with Moondeck. So, I mean, I can already guarantee that I'm at least going to have several people that are going to work and figure out those rates. But when it comes to third-party and outside talent, these are the big questions that I have, especially since I have to replace myself. I'm not trying to be egotistical here. I'm not trying to be like, look at me, but content creation, storylines, building something besides the game is a big part of what makes a successful tournament. It's a big part of what makes a memorable tournament. You have to have more than just, wow, look at what just happened in that game. Let's talk about that. Wow, what's going to happen in the next game? Let's talk about that. Let me get you so far. So, yeah, I got to replace myself. Now, I've kind of already done this by pre-planning a lot of the content and already working on it and storyboarding it and scheduling it. So, we already done that. But, yeah, it's interesting. I gotta find ways to make this tournament memorable, besides just the mode, which I think is memorable in itself. But I'm a big guy on quality, I'm a big guy on innovation, and I'm a big guy on making tournaments unique in a way. So to make that unique, as much as a counting the numbers book guy goes, you can only do that through good talent. That's it. What if the games are just shit? They're just terrible games, and everyone's playing like garbage. Talent's the only thing that can save you. What if the games are really, really good, but your talent is god-awful, and they have no idea what's happening, and they're missing all the team fights and not putting any hype? The event is also ruined. So, yeah, this is another hurdle. A hurdle I have not thought of till today. So, yeah. After this, though, there's not that much to it. It's just the fun. I hope the fun is coming. God, when will the fun come of building the tournament? But I'm just kidding. I'm actually having a blast challenging myself and learning all this. So, anyway, that will just about do it for Midas Mode blog for today. We are going to very aggressively start to plan out who is actually going to run this event and who is actually going to be the face of it. So, good luck to me. Next blog will probably be about the stage, about building the event. That's something that I didn't think of at all, is kind of what it's going to look like. Thematic-wise, what that? Is it going to be what am I going to try to shape that to be? That's something that is going to be super interesting, and that, to me, sounds like the funnest part, is building a stage and making something. But I'm sure it'll be miserable, just like everything else. All jokes aside, though, been a lot of fun. The big stress is over. The tournament will run. We still need a little bit more, but for the most part, things are looking like it's going to at least happen. It doesn't sound like much that it's at least going to happen, but let's see if we can't make it a little more. So, still on the hunt. As far as the big announcement, the big of every single thing that I have outlined, all of the sponsors and everything, we're going to have that by the end of the month. So, yeah. Okay, my original idea was to put that on November 1st, but that's when the new Heroes drop, so maybe that's not a good idea. Okay, well, I got more stuff to think about. Anyway, that'll do it for Midas Mode daily blog. These should be a little bit more frequent now that the sponsor thing is on its way out. So I will let you know. Hope the 4 of you watching this video have enjoyed it, and I hope I see you again soon. Goodbye.